And while we're talking about California and New York, Florida Attorney General proposes legislation to stop sexual predators and pursuing surrogacy, adoption, and foster care. Okay? So let me read the story to you, Rob. Is it a video?
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
This is Attorney General James Uthmeyer. By now you know my goal is to make Florida the safest state to raise a family. As a father of 3 little ones, my wife Jean and I know that there is no greater blessing from God than to have children. There's also no greater responsibility than to bring up good citizens. I know there are many couples out there that are unable to have kids, and many are turning to technology and various resources in the hopes of aiding their quest for parenthood, surrogacy being one of these options. That said, in Florida, we have a responsibility as leaders to protect families. And we've seen situations lately where surrogacy has exposed kids to dangerous harm. In Pennsylvania, we recently saw a homosexual couple, including a registered sex offender, celebrate bringing home a newborn. In other states, we've seen situations where parents have obtained children through surrogacy or adoption only to then subject them to repeated sexual abuse.
You can
This
pause that,
cannot and
Okay, so do you see the sensible ideas to protect kids and families? Do you see that? Do you see the sensible, complete opposite of trying to protect transgenders in New York with your taxpayer money? That's the difference. If you have a family and you got kids, and this is the story I was talking about. Oh, you found it. Yes. This is 2 weeks ago. Bizarre discovery of 21 children in L.A. home raises questions about lack of regulations for surrogacy. What? Let me read the story to you, and I'll come to this one, Rob, if you can keep this one up, because they kind of go together. So you heard what story he talked about, right? Highlighting what is going on here. The removal of 21 children from the custody of L.A. area couple has put a spotlight on the practice of using surrogacy to build a family. Surrogacy has no federal regulation, leaving it up to the states to set the rules if they choose to allow. What? What? The kids 15 at the couple's mansion and 6 more living elsewhere were taken by an L.A. County Child Welfare Agency in May after the parents were accused of failing to intervene in the abuse of a baby by a nanny. Police in Arcadia said the children range in age from 2 months to 13 years old, with most between 1 and 3. Police said the FBI won't comment, but agents are investigating Sylvia Zhang, 38, and Gyurjon Wan, 65, Swan, have not responded to emails seeking comment. Police believe Zhang gave birth to 1 or 2 of the children while the rest were born by surrogates. Some women who were paid surrogate for the couple now say they were unaware that the couple was accumulating a supersized family, raising questions about their intentions. What were they going to do with these children? Asked the lawyer in San Francisco. So, Tom, your thoughts. Florida versus L.A. madness.
Well, the Florida attorney...
Actually, I'm sorry. Let me go to Vinny first. Go ahead, Vinny.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, Tommy. But I think, and I'm pretty sure Tom's going to agree, this should be a federal law yesterday. Okay, remember last week we talked about that gay couple that adopted the baby? One of the fathers was, well, Brandon Keith Riley Mitchell was convicted of child porn, sexual abuse of a minor. Pay attention to what he was in trouble for. Endangering the welfare of children and corruption of minors, okay? And I did some research, and guess what, Tom? They still have that baby who is a boy, remind you, in their home, okay? Which to me, that's criminal negligence by the system. The child isn't their blood, so that means there's zero natural protection. We're talking about a predator. Think about this, guys. A predator is alone with the baby. He's changing him, he's bathing him, and he's tucking him in at night, all right? And it's just one day, the stranger baby, because it's a stranger, is going to grow up and become the same age as the people that this guy freaking abused and sexually assaulted. Okay, and we shouldn't be waiting for the headline of what went wrong. We know what the hell is wrong. It's the system at this point is just as much to blame as a freaking predator. Why is this even an issue, Pat? This should be not just a Florida thing, the whole freaking nation. And you should see how much flack I got online, meaning people messaging me, gay people like, how dare you? You're homophobic, you're blah, 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 blah. Bring that shit on. No gay couple should have, especially one that was in trouble for, I'll say it again. Let me say it one more time. What was he in trouble for? Child porn, sexual abuse of a minor, and endangering the welfare of children. And you guys think that guy should have a freaking boy, a baby in his house, we're kissing him and he's changing him. Get the hell out of here with that noise. Keep coming at me. Go ahead, Tom.
There's laws in the United States. When there is a live birth, there has to be a birth certificate. And that birth certificate is your path to a social security number and path to recognized citizenship. So let's just look at the legal stuff. And I'm just as emotional as you are about the fact that there's uncorrected things going on out there with sexual predators. When a surrogate has a child, the birth certificate first recognizes who is the legal individual that had that baby. This is the mom. She can decline to state the father, or I don't know, or I don't recall, or, there's another bizarre things that she can say. Then they have to go to court and say, it's called the post-birth order, where you go to court and you basically adopt the child on the birth certificate, and they say, this is a surrogate adoption we're doing, and they don't call it adoption, it's surrogacy. And then the court order, like Florida's Department of Vital Statistics, has to, under a court order, then change the names on the birth certificate, so now that these are the legal parents. Now, now the name of the surrogate is removed and sealed. So that's how these kids that grow up have to go through all this stuff to somehow find out who their birth mom was, if they were so interested. So you have a process to review surrogates. And it's a failure of the system, Vinny. It's a failure of the system. If you're on parole, you can't buy a gun.
Yes.
And if you go in and you buy a gun because the background check miss something, that's a failure of the system. Likewise, if you're a sexual predator, what the Florida Attorney General is saying, hey, in Florida, we're going to check and double check. And if you're a sexual predator, when you go in to get the post-birth order to adopt the child who's been born to the surrogate, where you have the legal birth certificate, because you got to have that, guess what? We're going to put the hammer down and say no. And I think the Florida Attorney General is doing something very sensible. Meanwhile, in California, you can basically, and who knows what these people were doing, you can accumulate an army of children through surrogacy for who knows what. It could just be, I want to have a lot of kids, but there also could be other things going on. And apparently, they couldn't watch after them because a nanny was abusing the baby, and the older child turned him in.
So to me, I don't think anything weird is going on here, okay? I think the chance of that being the case here is 10 or 20%. I'm actually not going to they did something. But the fact that we have no federal laws for surrogacy, and it's by state, and it allows for some person who wanted to abuse a child, they can go to a state that's got lenient surrogacy law. So, Rob, can you pull up which states in America have the most lenient surrogacy laws? Which states have the most lenient and the most, what's the opposite of lenient? Strict. Lenient and strict surrogacy laws. Yeah, let's see in America, in the United States. Yeah, perfect. I'm curious because to me, that's more my concern. My concern isn't what they did. They could have been very innocent and it led to something else. Okay, most lenient states. California, leader in surrogacy, permits commercial surrogacy and routinely grants pre-birth parentage. Okay, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, D.C., New Hampshire, Maryland, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, Rhode Island, Vermont, all consider it surrogacy. Michigan recently updated its April 25-year parentage, transitioning from restrictive to progressive by legally recognizing surrogacy arrangements, as well as New York. Now, most ambiguous, restrictive or ambiguous are what? Louisiana only allows altruistic, just from surrogacy, a married heterosexual couple using their own. Nebraska compensated surrogacy is not considered legal here, making any paid arrangements effectively unbanned. And Arizona, surrogacy contracts are expressly prohibited through at least, where it goes to heterosexual couples. Okay, fine. I get that. Go a little bit lower. Is there anything else? Strict as are Louisiana, Nebraska, Arizona. Yeah. I think the fact that we're bringing this up is to bring awareness for people to be paying attention to it. It's a very open. If you're somebody that's dirty and you want to abuse the law, you got a few states you can go to handle that, okay? If all of a sudden a gay couple wants to go get 10 kids, is there limitations on that in some of these states? I don't know. There's too many opportunities for abuse.
And just really, really fast, and I have to say this again, the Brandon Keith Riley Mitchell guy, they still have that baby. He is a convicted freaking child abusing
Is
freaking...
he?
Yes. He was convicted of, Rock, fact check me. Brandon Keith Riley Mitchell was convicted of child porn, sexual.
Till today. So he was never let go and he was never innocent. He was convicted.
He was convicted. Am I right, Rod? He's a registered
so he's
sex
still
offender.
a registered sex offender.
And then Pat, how is that kid still in their house?
I mean, that's Michigan.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Like there's oh my God! Like I don't understand.
So
Can I weigh in on this?
Adam, go ahead.
Sure. Well, we're looking at Exhibit A of why Donald Trump won the presidency. It's just common sense at this point. The reason that you're freaking out here is because there's cities and states around the country who are not practicing common sense. All Trump had to do was expose the crazy. What Trump did was say, I prioritize citizens over illegal immigrants. I know the difference between a man and a woman. I love America. You hate America. And I have morals and values that align with the average American. You know, on Bill Maher this past weekend, did you see who was on? It was our friend Stephen A. Smith and Dr. Phil. And they argued about whether the 10 Commandments should be in school. And Stephen A. Smith and Dr. Phil were on the side of, I think there should be a little introduction of morals and values and principles, whereas Bill Maher, who does not believe in God, was basically saying, why do we even need that? The 10 Commandments is all BS. But that is leading to the degradation of society. Now, I believe in the separation of church and state. To what extent, though? Judeo-Christian values, the 10 Commandments is what this country was founded on, right? But we've seen, I don't know if you have that chart from the Wall Street Journal that I sent you, the decline in all these values that America was basically founded on. The decline of religion, the decline of patriotism, which very much bothers me, the decline of having children, and community involvement. Americans pull back from the values that once defined us. That's what's going on here. So my prediction is this pendulum will swing one direction into the other, and it'll be 10, 20 years before LA and New York City and some of these psychopathic woke agenda have to reckon with the reality.
Tom, and then I'm going to the next story. Tom.
Yeah, the question from Pat was national laws and national precedent. And when Roe v. Wade, that was a national law that was governing abortion. And then Obergefell versus Hodges. That was a national case in 2015 that legalized same-sex marriage for all 50 states. And of course, remember, that was Kennedy, Sotomayor, Kagan, Ginsburg, and Breyer, the liberal five at the time. That won't happen now. But to Pat's point, if we're going to have Roe v. Wade on a national level, and we're going to have Obergefell versus Hodges, John Roberts dissented, and that gives us same-sex marriage on a national basis, why shouldn't we have national laws governing, surrogacy for continuity's sake? Because you're talking about citizens. You're talking about protecting those citizens. So I agree with Pat. There should be national laws, and the precedent is there at the Supreme Court in so many ways.
The Gentleman's Series, VT merch. Let me tell you, the ties that you ask for, black ties, this is 100% silk with the Valuetainment logo, is on it with the pocket square tie. We have them in black and blue, absolutely sharp, incredible quality. It's not the thin, shiny quality. It's great quality. The ties that are here. And the other one is, this is limited edition, 100% leather, Valuetainment bag that's out here. Leather shoulder tote bag that's here. Feel the quality on how the leather feels, by the way.
I feel like Vanna White right here.
Yeah.
This feels great.
And by the way, the VT logo is there.
Well, Adam knows about leather.
And then when you open it up, inside of it, you will see Future Looks Bright right here. Sick, absolutely sick. And by the way, the other day, Michael Beasley was doing a podcast. We're now seeing people actually wearing a Future Looks Bright hat all over the place. Michael Beasley's doing a podcast.
NBA player, number 2 pick of the draft many years ago by the Miami Heat.
I can't
Michael
wait
Beasley,
to
respect
see
to you.
millions
Future does
on
look
top
bright.
of millions. I get so many people on X who are posting pictures while they watch this podcast, and they'll tell me how they're watching the podcast, but they'll say, man, look at my Future Looks Bright hat. Look at my Future Looks Bright gear. Love seeing the support. More importantly, we need to convert more people that are coming here. We were just in LA this last weekend for, what do you call it? That show that happens. We won't post any of the pictures. You know the guy that sits in the middle
Jubilee.
and 20 people
Jubilee.
grill you?
Yeah.
I was in the middle with 20 anti-capitalists.
That was awesome, Pat.
It was epic. It was fire, and it'll be released in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Cannot wait to have you guys see it. But the whole premise is we need more people thinking the future looks bright instead of being victims. And, it's not fair. I'm not happy about what's going to happen. I'm so scared about the future. So if you support that as well, Go to vtmerch.com, place your order. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.